Okay. Nervos Nation. Guess what? I got a new microphone and it sounds way better than what I had before. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. This is my third video. Sorry it took so long. I do work a normal job other than being on Twitter talking about CKB, and this is our busy time of the year. And a week ago, I was celebrating my wife's birthday, and we've had family events. It's been wild. So here we go. I'm gonna get this one out to you guys. It probably will be long too. I apologize in advance, but that's what I'm just gonna basically walk through all of my thoughts and try to jam in as much as I possibly can. So just take it in spurts. I got my notepad here to make sure I don't forget anything. So let's go to the title. I caught the Twitter bug, and golly, I made this Twitter account over a year ago just so I could follow investment stuff, pretty much just CKB. It was what I wanted to see, announcements and what was going on with it. And you guys are partially to blame because you're so hype just like me, and it fuels me. But it's been awesome, man. I love this community to death. Like it's so cool, and we're just starting. So I can't tell you how excited I am for our future. It's gonna be great. Just wanted to also remind you guys why I'm doing this. As you can see with my thumbnails, like I enjoy doing this. I'm just an average person that loves CKB, right? Don't ever expect anything too flashy. I just hit record, tell you what I'm looking at, and yeah, that's really it. I like to get this out to you guys. This is kind of like Fight Club, right? I don't really want too many people to know about it for two main reasons. One, if you go to Fight Club, you usually get hurt, and a lot of this stuff is just all my analysis, and it's not tested or proven yet. So I don't want anybody to make any financial advice off of this. Do your own research. This is just my analysis, so take it for that, right? Second reason why it's like Fight Club is I like this community, right? So yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing this. Community shout outs at CKB Life. That's the first one I throw out. Go give him a follow. He gave an awesome shout out to several community members, including me, yesterday on Twitter. And I just think that that's so important, right? He's noticing others. He's the wind at the back of other community members. And I think every single one of us this is my opinion, should do the same for everyone else, right? We're all in this together. And I just think that's really cool. It's an awesome example that he set, and it's very appreciated on my end. So I appreciate that. Give him a follow. At knowledge_MON. This was such a cool feeling for me. I picked up on that live sell count chart and pattern with a 30,000 plus live sell count drop that happens in a day. Well, the fifth one just recently happened. We'll get into it, as you can see here in the notes on our schedule here, and we'll get into that. But he was the first one that noticed it, and he sent out the tweet, and it was such a cool feeling to have somebody else looking at the same patterns that I am. So that was really cool. So shout out for noticing that. And it was the biggest one we've had so far. So we'll go into that. And then shout out to Crypto TA11, Real Six Fig, and Crypto_Airborne. These guys have been they're killing it for our community, right? For amazing, I highlight, I put it all in caps, consistent, because they're very consistent, unlike me. Consistent technical analysis and CKB mining information / step-by-step walkthroughs. They've been throwing out some killer info, and I missed several community members that have been putting in so much time, and it's just, I've been super busy on my end, and I spent probably about 45 minutes prepping this to make sure that I kind of lined everything up right. And so forgive me for anybody I'm missing, but this community is just awesome, and I'm fired up for our future. All right, now getting into everything. Here we go. Corrections and revisions, mining pools, yeah, excuse me, network difficulty, and one tweet in particular. I sent out a tweet about this before. Where am I here? Let's put this one there. On my second video, I was pointing at these mining accounts as if they were pooled, or excuse me, as if they were individual miners, which was just a dumb mistake. So I just want to make sure and correct that on this video in case anybody didn't see the tweet where I corrected that. These are pools. This miner, however, we're going to get into because there's a lot of interesting stuff happening that applies to our live cell count drops that I noticed. So there's a lot of interesting information there. Oh, I missed one other thing on my greeting. Remember to this and this right here. This is, I enjoy looking at these charts, right? And seeing what they do and how price action responds. Many of the things when they happen and price action seems to respond the same way every time. I might not even really understand yet like what that means as far as the chart, if that makes any sense. And I think that's important. But my main thing is it does this and price action does that. Is it consistent? Is it make a pattern? That's what I'm focusing on, right? So also know that up front. But yeah, I wanted to correct the part about the miners. I can get rid of that because I got that one up there. Network difficulty. So I had talked about, excuse me, I talked about this one when network difficulty kind of busts through and basically sets a new support, if that makes any sense, creates a change, new volatility. I mean, there's different ways that you could use it. And so I focused on June 27th and February 5th. And when you look at how price action, June 27th, right about there, right, takes off. February 5th, boom, right there. I was fired up about us getting this close right here because that was higher than this. Well, I'm still bullish on the pattern. I'm excited. 2 times only happening is not something that I can say, oh, I'm 100% positive, but I feel pretty optimistic. But I shouldn't have just assumed that this moment right here, 863 compared to 858, was this moment here, right? This could be here. So, right, if I'm looking at this side here, this wasn't that moment. This wasn't February 5th. This was way before. So this was, this was a, how am I trying to say this here? Maybe a signal that coming up, we're going to set a new pattern, if that makes any sense, set a new support. So I wanted to look at this date, October 14th. And signal right about there. I did read that right? October 14th. Yeah. It's signal. So the question is could this be signaling close to a bottom, if that makes any sense? I don't know. Let's go back to that chart. So October 5th. Well, it's funny, they're really close on the dates there. October 5th, where was that? Yeah, maybe. Not too sure. Where I'm going with this, I'm not going to spend any more time on it. I'm still waiting. We haven't set a new pattern. We haven't set a new support yet. So maybe is it a sign that we're getting close? Possibly. I'm still keeping my eye on it. We did notice here, right, kept setting higher lows, and then we fell back through. But we've been setting higher lows again, so let's see over the next couple weeks where this takes us. All right, next step. Last revision. TC transaction count tweet. Basically, I had sent out a tweet a couple days ago where I said CKB's current price, based off of the way I've analyzed transaction count and how it correlates to price action, reflects this perfectly. In a way, it kind of did, but I didn't like that tweet. I don't like talking like that. It makes me sound arrogant and full of myself. So I wish I wouldn't have said it that way. It wasn't. So that's all why I wrote that down there was I don't want to sound like that. These are not tested, tried, or proven. So I don't know. I didn't like the way I said that. It just didn't come across the way that I wanted to. That being said, though, let's go into it because it is interesting what transaction count can tell us. And there's something I wrote here. How will the squeeze play out and how will price action respond? So what squeeze am I referring to here? Oh, see, look at me, unprepared. I put this there and I lined them up wrong. Here we go. Let's go into transaction count. Here we go. And I drew this picture right here as well. Nope, not that. my video. Where's the picture? There it is. What I noticed with transaction count is, and I've hammered on this, consistency and follow through. And when we go up and we, right here, right? What was this date? When we took off on our transaction count here in mid-July and we set this new bottom, that was the bottoming right about here, which was just wild, right? It's a bullish signal when we break through a support and we follow through and we hold that, right? And then we remain consistent, and that consistency kind of had its ups and downs. Come on, go back to it. Where is it at? Let's bring this back here. Let me see. You can tell I'm stuttering here a little bit. Let's pull up this. What I'm looking for is right at this 20K line, right? I drew it a little bit below just for the sake of the way it would look. Whenever we poke above this and are inconsistent and fall back through, price action responds negatively. I mean, obviously, CKB never goes down. It only goes on sale. But it's played out every time, and it's wild. But I've noticed this too. We've been on this upward trend. So yesterday morning, I tweeted out that we're back in our sweet spot on transaction count, and I was optimistic for a good day. Well, price action, if you think, it didn't really do anything spectacular at all. If anything, it did the complete opposite. So it's completely wrong there. So why this time, right? Why did it not play out this time? Well, that's why I drew this line, and it's going up. So we're almost at this squeeze right now. I'm using the word squeeze. I don't do technical analysis on that. I'm not good at that, but this looks like a squeeze, right? So I'm watching this and I'm curious. We're kind of at this point to where if it's going to follow this pattern, right? If it eventually, normally I would consider right here in our sweet spot, but as this continues to go up, maybe that's not. So are we going to see a jump in transaction count again like we saw here? And are we going to set a new support? Are we going to fall through? I actually am curious as how this is going to play out. So that's what I'm watching. So until we see a jump up or down, I can't say I'm confident one way or the other on how price action is going to respond to transaction count until we see a change in this. And I'm watching it. It's extremely interesting to me. Okay. Hash rate. Let's jump into that. I love this one. It's so much fun. Hash rate. Here we go. Let's close this out now. Oh, I forgot about this. Hold up. Actually, no. I'll come back to hash rate in a second. Yeah, this is something that I love about Nervos and about how it was built. It's consensus. It is awesome. This is a difficulty chart for Bitcoin, right? Very flat. And then this is the difficulty chart for Nervos. I'm going to touch on a little bit of uncle rate here at the end, right? But this the rate of orphan blocks, right? We have a target rate of 2.5%. Whenever that's down lower, network difficulty will drop, allow more throughput for more transactions. It's brilliant, and because of that, we get this crazy volatile difficulty in comparison to that. It just goes to show like the next level of abstraction, right? The next level of innovation. It's brilliant. I just love it. It makes it so much more interesting. There's so much more to study, so much more to see, and it combats and basically makes selfish mining no longer possible. It's fantastic. So that's why I pulled that up, because I love that comparison right there. Okay, let me take a sip of my drink here. Hash rate. So I talk about the 21 to 28 day delay, and that we're looking for a price reversal to the upside between October 22nd and 29th. That's because this last one right here, October 1st, this 21 to 28 day delay that has just at this point proven flawless. Well, I would say like 98%. There was one back in March of 2020 that it was a little iffy, but it's darn near close to flawless at this point. So 21 to 28 days from hash rate all-time high peaks. after it breaks the all-time high and peaks there and starts to turn down. So 21 to 28 day delay, we see within that 7-day gap price reversal to the upside. And that puts us between October 22nd and the 29th, where we hopefully will see a reversal to the upside. So we're 2 days in, and let's see if and when that happens. That's what I'm watching right now. For hash rate. All right, what do we got next? Live sell count. Okay, I'm fired up about this. This is what got me into looking at all of these patterns. Back here in July of 2020, we, if you go back to July 2020, let's go to all. And a little bit of this is a little repetitive if you saw the second video, so I apologize. But July 20th, right? This is what price action did following that date. And I noticed that, and it was interesting to me. When I saw it happen again here, January 24th, and we all know January 20th. Look at that. I mean, now obviously, I had mentioned this before. We had a lot at our back for that run. But that really sparked a lot of this interest in, well, what else do all these other charts, what can they tell me as far as what to expect or what to predict or odds of how price action is going to respond. So every time that we've had 30,000 live sells, 30,000 plus live sells shed in a single day, price action has responded bare minimum of an 85% increase over like 30 to 45 days. Which is just wild. We've had it happen 4 times, and it has happened every single time. Still, August 6th, and the fourth one, September 29th. August 6th, September 29th, right? September 29th, boom. August 6th, boom, right there. Every time. And it just happened again. This is that shout out to knowledge_MON. He was the first one that noticed it, and here's our 5th one, and is the freaking biggest one. I mean, on the 18th. So 58.73K drop in a single day. I honestly don't know if that just means we're gonna have an insane run from here. Maybe it means the opposite. I don't feel that way, truthfully, but I'm just excited to see what this level and what it might predict, how price action is going to respond to that. This is the 5th time. Every time before, it's an 85%. I'm just waiting for these patterns to fail and to make adjustments to them. Because again, remember, more miners are being added to the network. It's evolving. It's changing. We're still in the first set of base issuance. We haven't had any halvings yet. You know, all of this stuff is going to change and evolve, which makes it fun. It's not just the same. It continues to evolve. So we're learning as we go, but I have no reason not to be overly optimistic when we see this right here. It's a pattern. It's played out 4 times. Let's see if it's going to make it a 5 out of 5. Which leads me into miner WH0J. All right. So obviously we know now, excuse me, and these are pools. But this miner right here, when I looked up a chart for recent miners and which ones are pools, this one doesn't have a pool associated with it. So I got curious, and now this took me forever to find one of these, but I found it. So the question is, and we talked about this on video too, that it's odds are it's consolidation of cells, and most likely coming from miners, especially with these big miners that are mining a mass amount of CKB. So every time a miner mines a block and gets their reward, that's a cell or multiple cells. Sometimes I see as these transactions come through, right? +1, +3 cells for this miner, right? You get multiple cells sometimes. Mostly it's just one, but those pile up. So the question is who's doing it? Well, I think this is it right here. And there's so much to dive into, and we're not even gonna be able to, because there's still more investigating that I need to do with the limited time that I have during this time of season. As I mentioned, my job's pretty darn busy this year, this time of year. But I found, so it was on the 18th, right? October 18th, and then on the 19th, so on that day. Well, this was something that was really interesting. On that tweet that I had sent out about correcting the mistake of calling these individual miners when they were really pools, I said this, but check this out. Address WH0J, consolidated live sales yesterday evening. So this was on the 18th. The charts hadn't updated that day. So it's funny, I caught the live sell count while it happened, but the charts hadn't updated it, and so I didn't know to look for it on the 18th. But so I looked it back up, and it's difficult. It takes a lot of time because you got to scroll through goodness knows how many pages, right? 36,000. Thankfully, I had found that one earlier, so but where are we at? So WH0J on the 17th, 2 hours before almost 2 hours before the next day on the 18th. Remember, the drop was from the 18th to the 19th. We had, so technically this was the day before, but because it was near the end of the day, it may have reflected on the 18th for the chart. Who knows? But I wasn't convinced that this was all of it. But check this out right here at 2156. Let's click on this transaction here. This miner, check out this consolidation that happened. Over 1 million CKB. And look at this. All these earnings consolidated, individual cells, all of them, right? The question was, but we had, what was it, 58,000? So I was like, well, this doesn't seem like that would be it completely. So, and plus this was on the 17th, and the drop happened from the 18th to the 19th. So I spent a lot of time scrolling through more pages, and I found on the 18th, very close to the same time, the next day within an hour's difference, we had another mass consolidation by the same miner. So WH0J is, if not the primary culprit, if not the only, it's probably the primary. I haven't clicked on every single one of these. I can't tell you for 100% that on the 18th and the 17th, these two transactions were fully 100% responsible for the 50. I feel confident that it's not, but was it the mass majority? Was it not? Are there other accounts that also consolidated during that time? Sure. I mean, there's a very good chance that most likely, yes. I haven't found them yet, so I can't jump to any conclusions there. But, right? So the next thing that I need to dive into, and it's going to take time, is because this is an interesting thing that I noticed here. Oh, wait. Crud, did I lose the page? No, I didn't. Hold up. Let me go back. Yes, I did. Oh, it's because they're updating. Oh, that's annoying. Hold up. 18. Yeah, let me go forward and see. This is how much they're mining. It's just in this time. There it is. Okay. Yeah, 2-2. Let's go forward. Hold up for me here. There it is. Okay. This is what's interesting is when these were all consolidated, both these transactions on the 17th and the 18th, they both went to address 0AYQ, 0AYQ. So the next thing that I really am excited to do when I have the time is dive in who's this account, right? And how many transactions? 689 is active, right? And trying to figure out where these CKB are going. Right, the layer one, right, our main net is still very young. There's only so much that we know. We can't say for sure 100% which account is which. I pulled up here. Oh, I want to actually grab balance distribution here. We don't know exactly, right? I'm wondering if this is Binance, this address right here on number one for balance ranking, just because of the amount of transactions that take place, right? I mean, maybe Huobi, maybe. I mean, they're the OG, right? They've been there, but Binance, just because of its volume and being I'm pretty sure they're the largest crypto exchange in the world. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like it's a halfway decent guess, but I can't be 100% positive. So there's still more research to do, but it's interesting, right? Miner WH0J consolidating on the 17th and the 18th, live sell count, boom. It'll be interesting when I have more time to go back at these dates and see what Miner WH0J did on those days as well, right? Because they've been around for a while, so really interesting. But I'm telling you guys, these are just my patterns that I'm picking up on. Has nothing to do with news that's coming out, right? It has nothing to do. I tweeted about recently. The fact that Ben Morris, Nervos's director of business relations for the foundation, on this video recently, the quote was, "We're working with several large non-crypto partners, I believe, that will bring with them their users." And he talked about it was for reasons like Unipass. And that led me down. This is kind of a detective thing I had some fun diving into. I was like, well, who could it be, right? And what is Unipass? Let's have some fun here. Unipass.id. All right, let's have some fun. Universal passport to the metaverse. Okay. One thing that was on here, metaverse, we're going to talk about that here in a second. Attend Zoom meetings, right? Well, it makes me wonder if there's a partnership with Zoom, possibly. But anyways, again, there's only certain emails that you're allowed to use. This must be new, Proton Mail, by the way, because I didn't see that recently. That's awesome. But Gmail, Outlook, right? Google, Microsoft, big players. I'm not trying to overhype anything because I genuinely don't know, but when I hear him say that, big non-crypto partners that will bring with them their users. So these are these partnerships, these companies have many users. Zoom obviously has users. That could be a possibility. But I'm wondering, so the whole thing here was metaverse, right? So I looked up large companies investing in the metaverse, and Facebook, obviously, Microsoft, Amazon. I'm sure Google has some form or fashion in it, but I didn't see anything. Another thing that I found interesting was, I wonder if I could find it here. Well, no, Jan Z is going to be speaking right on Tuesday at that blockchain summit. There was a speaker from Microsoft China in there, and it might have had something to do with the metaverse, maybe. But I know that, well, no, maybe not on that list. But Microsoft has talked about investing a great deal of capital and effort into the metaverse. I'm just trying to put these pieces together, right? He says we're working with, Ben Moore says we're working with non-crypto partners, large, that will bring with them their users because of reasons like Unipass, because of those solutions. And man, I'm not jumping to any conclusions. There's just a lot coming. That whole rant, which was not planned, all has to do, I'm saying that what I'm seeing in these patterns are bullish for price action, based off of my analysis, right? You invest not based off of this, based off of your own decisions and your own research. What I'm seeing here, live sell count, 21 to 28 day delay on the hash rate, right? All these things plus many more, they're all bullish right now at this moment. Aside from everything the foundation is telling us is coming up, Yoke Swap, our mainnet hard fork upgrade, all of this, all of these speaking events coming up. It's crazy. And I've got a lot more of that detective stuff, but I just don't have time to run through that right now. But there's just so much exciting stuff coming, guys. So, all right, let me get back on track here. We're almost done. Balance ranking. Oh yeah, okay. I talked about this a lot. Wrapping up here. This miner, there's a lot going on. I'm excited to dive into those 2 transactions to that account that it was being sent to, right? 0AYQ. Where is the CKB moving? Where is it going? Can we try to put together some patterns? Yeah, we've got more to go into with that. Let's see. Let me close all these out, right? Balance ranking. I talked about this. Oh, it looks like my I jumped on doing this video because my little girl, she's almost a year old. We put her down for a nap and she's waking up, so you might hear her in the background. This miner right here, RYE2, they've been adding a little bit more. I talked about them continuously adding when we would see over the last week these jumps in price within hours following. The RYE2 would, where am I? Come on. RYE2 would continuously be adding CKB, right? They'd be depositing more and more and more. And eventually they were at rank 6, and let's do this. Come on here. Stick with it, Mitch. You can do it. You're zoning out. Where are we going? Balance ranking. Where is it? Right there. They were at rank 6 and then they made rank 5. They beat it. But then they sacrificed that position, and this was the transaction right here. They sent 88 million CKB to this address. I clicked on it and I spent some time looking around. I'll dive into that later because I don't have any ideas. But the question is, who are they sending this to? Where's the CKB going, right? What are they planning? Why is this large amount of CKB changing hands? And they did that on 22nd. Okay, man, they've been adding more recently. Well, they're stacking back up again. So, dang, look at that. That was this early this morning. They're not stopping, guys. I'm telling you, we can't sleep on this. Well, that's just my opinion. You should make your own opinion, but we can't sleep on this. These guys are stacking up. All right. This is getting boring. Last thing, just wanted you guys to know, this is what I'm currently studying right now. This is the next thing I want to figure out. How can, right, that's the main question here that I have, is how can all of these charts tell me something about where price action might go based off of how price action has responded before. And I want to look at all of them. And I just, right about here, I just noticed these about a 6 to 7 to 8 days on a bottom of a support here in February, right before everything just went parabolic. And that's all I'll say. I logged a little bit of this and I wrote it down, but I'm looking forward to here in the next couple weeks, maybe sooner, if I figure out some stuff. But what can Uncle Rate tell us based off of, what's a good word I could leave you guys with here? Stability, maybe once it starts to look unstable, right? Right here, September 29th. What happened September 29th? Right there, a bottom, okay? What would be something that jumps out as unstable? December 27th. December 27th. Darn, like right before everything started. That's all I'll say because, again, this is something that's new and I still have a lot to learn about it. But I'm looking at it because everything's interesting, right? What can one chart tell us, and maybe what does the perfect storm look like, right? Right before a big upward movement happens or CKB going on sale happens. Do all the charts, or do 75+% of these charts all do the same thing? Do they all signal the perfect storm that's incoming? I just enjoy it. It's fun, so that's what I'm doing. All right, I'm done. That was a lot, wasn't it? Transaction count above 20. I'm really excited to see what happens there because of the squeeze that's going on. I have no idea how this is going to play out. This is new. This is why I love this. We got new stuff happening all the time. Hopefully this is interesting. Again, this is just me. What does this chart say? How does price action respond? Log it. Does it create a pattern? Yeah, not tested, not proven. So don't invest based off of it. Oh, I totally forgot to write something down. Check this out, guys. This is what I'm going to leave you with here. I love this community to death. We've got a heck of a bright future ahead of us. So this is what I'm going to leave you with. Hashtag bag and bites, baby. Boom. You guys are the best. Thanks for all the support. Let's just all keep supporting each other. And I will hopefully do another one of these sooner than later. Adios, guys.